Change isn't really scary. It's just a normal part of life. And the more that we can embrace change, the better opportunity we have to really master our lives and step into that role of visionary for our business and for our life.
You are listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 126. Hey there, it's Tracy Matthews, your host today. I am the Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish and Thrive Academy, and I love coming to you every single week, bringing you great content and great episodes so that you can really grow your jewelry brand and, build a company that is in alignment with what it is that you love to do the most. And that's why I'm super excited about today's episode. But before I dive into the content, I think it's crazy. I can't believe it's already December. It's been such a crazy year. And I love the end of the year because it gives us this opportunity to really reevaluate what happened throughout the entire year. But then also, it gives us an opportunity to really envision what it is that we want to create for next year. And I know that each year, when I start my year, I sort of have a theme or a word or something that I like to kind of bring forward. But I think oftentimes, as we're starting to plan our year and starting to think about what it is that we want to create in our business, some things sort of slide by the wayside and we don't really consider them when we're doing our planning. So today we're going to talk about 10 questions to ask yourself if you want to have the best year ever in your life and your business. So I'm super excited about this because it's going to be a fun episode. But right now is the time to start planning. We are about to host a really amazing training with our SLS Accelerator students, all about planning their promotions for 2017. And if you haven't heard about the SLS Accelerator, it's our amazing one-on-one coaching program that's designed to support you with your e-commerce and digital marketing strategy. So I've been really excited to create this program for those of you who are trying to sell more online, which has been such a blast. We had our first training in November, which was awesome. Kathleen Cutler, one of our coaches, walked us through a complete step-by-step guide to setting up your email automation and the 3 most important sequences that you need in place. Plus, we went through examples and she showed us exactly how to set it up in MailChimp, which was pretty awesome. I was blown away. I was like, I know a lot about email automation and nurture sequences, but I learned some new things, which was really, really fun. So this program is really designed to support you not only on a one-on-one basis, but to get you in the trenches of the latest and greatest in digital marketing strategy. So if you're interested in hearing more, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS and you can check out what it's all about. Now, today we are going to dive in to talking about planning. I'm going to share with you some episodes that we did before, because I don't want to, one of the things that I really want to create on this podcast is new content. Like, I feel like if we've already covered like the basics of how to financially plan your year or how to create a business plan or how to, really map out your sales for the year and decide on all that stuff, I don't want to like recover it every time at the same time this year. So I'm going to share with you some episodes momentarily that we've already done about all these topics. But before I do, I wanted to take a word from our sponsor. The sponsor for today's episode is Shopify. Now, Shopify is my favorite e-commerce platform, especially for jewelry designers who are trying to sell their jewelry online. And here's the reason why. So I'm a huge convert. Like for many years, I was recommending other platforms, which will remain nameless. I'm just going to say that. But I'm a kind of a Shopify convert lately because I've seen the success that so many of the designers we have in the Flourish and Thrive community have had on the platform. And here's the reason why. I've supported hundreds of, thousands actually of designers with their e-commerce strategy and their digital marketing strategy. And I've seen designers pick up a platform that was really easy to jump into. And then all of a sudden that platform just stopped like innovating and upgrading. And the one thing that is so amazing about Shopify is it's such a robust platform and there's so much you can do with it, from abandoned cart sequences to, retargeting to integrations with Pinterest to you name it. There's just so many applications and so many I want to use the word plugins, but that's not the right word. So there's so many just applications you can add to your Shopify platform to create just a great shopping experience, not only for your customers, but to also increase your average order size, like integrations with Pinterest, abandoned cart sequences, upsell sequences, cross-sell sequences. There's so much that you can do with the platform, and they're always adding to it. In fact, next episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite, or fan favorites, I should say, applications that integrate with Shopify. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Anyway, we negotiated a 10% discount off with your Shopify subscription if you head on over and check it out. We have also negotiated a free trial with Shopify for those of you who are new to the platform, which is pretty awesome. So you can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/Shopify. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/Shopify. It's really awesome for you because you can get 10% off, try it out for free, no questions asked. Awesome. Anyway, I'm excited about this. So let's dive right into the episode today because it's time to talk about 10 questions to ask yourself if you want to have the best year ever in life and business. Let's do this. All right. So first of all, I wanted to talk about some of the other planning trainings planning episodes, I should say, not technically trainings, but I do approach the podcast kind of like, I really want to give you a lot of great value add. So episode number 69 was our end of the year planning session with Robin Kramer. And Robin and I kind of walked through how to plan for your year for the next year. So I'm really excited for you to kind of check out that episode if you're looking at some sort of tactical things that you could do to map out each quarter, to think about how you're going to achieve your goals and to, set revenue, sales, and other business goals for your business. And then work backwards. So it's a great episode. I highly recommend that you check it out. These are great episodes to revisit. Then I also did episode 70 with Nina Cooper last year. And this episode was all about business planning. In fact, it's called, Do I Really Need a Business Plan? And in that episode, we talk about how to make writing a business plan really easy. Doesn't even have to be more than one page, but how this really sets you up for success in your business. So definitely check out that episode. It's a really great one. You don't want to miss it. And then I know you guys love talking about money, but we'd love for you to check out episode number 71, where we talk about fun financial planning with Justin Crane. He is our financial guru over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. He's also going to be doing some trainings for us over at the SLS Accelerator. Justin's awesome. Plus he's super funny and just an amazing all around financial guru, to say the least. So make sure that you check out those episodes. These are really going to be more for the tactical planning stuff. But today I wanted to get you kind of thinking idealistically and creatively and get you really in that visionary mindset that we talk about a lot here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. Sometimes our creativity can get dulled when we're focused so much on doing. And it's really awesome to be able to take some time to step back to create and envision what it is that we really want for the year. So Michael Hyatt has this really great assessment called the Life Score Assessment that I wanted to encourage you to take. It's actually super cool. It's an online tool that gives you tremendous clarity around the areas of your life that need to be improved if you want to have the best year ever. So if you want to check it out, I love quizzes and assessments. In fact, we just relaunched our website and we're going to be incorporating more quizzes and assessments in that because I think it's really interesting. We created this amazing marketing scorecard for our live event, and people were just blown away because they thought maybe they had all their online stuff sort of dialed in and then realized that they had a lot of work to do. So I love assessments because it really helps us highlight and show us some of the things that maybe we already know about ourselves, but also some of the things that we might not see about ourselves, which I think are really important. So if you want to check this out, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LifeScore. Don't worry about remembering it. I'm going to have it in the show notes over at episode 126. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 126. And we'll have everything linked there. But you can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LifeScore. All righty. So we are getting prepped over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy for our SLS Accelerator planning meeting for the year, which is an awesome training that we do with Inta Ivans, who's one of our SOS coaches. And basically what we're doing is sort of breaking down the year and then figuring out, working backwards, everything that needs to happen in order to support your goals. And that's going to be a really fun training, but I digress. So let's jump into the 10 questions that you need to ask yourself, or you should ask yourself, if you want to have the best year ever. So every year, when I start my year, I pick one word, and that's like my theme of the year. This last year, it was simplify. Quite honestly, I think I'm going to pick the same word for next year, which will be simplified. The 2 previous years before, it was support. And during those years, I ended up hiring a bunch of the people on my team who have become the most amazing A players, who are the people who bring Flourish and Thrive Academy to life. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I think it's really important to think about what it is that you want to create and then be able to dial that down into just one specific word that can become your theme. Because when you start to practice what you preach and you start to really consider what it is that you want to create, and you can create it in one word, you can remind yourself consistently about what it is that you need in your life. So with that being said, question number 1 is really about how do you want to feel? So you can ask yourself the question, how do I want to feel? I love this question because especially when I think back to a couple of years ago when I was feeling like really ungrounded and like I didn't have enough support to get to where I wanted to, not only with Flourish and Thrive Academy. And what I mean by that is like I was doing everything myself along with Robin, and we're trying to run this business, but we needed extra support in order to be able to nurture the community in the way that we wanted to do that, and to be able to grow our back-end systems in a way that was set up for sustainable growth so that we could bring you things like this podcast, our Diamond Insiders group, the SLS Accelerator program, etc. So you get the picture. So at that time, I really needed to feel supported. And I think that that is something that was really like pivotal and core to my ability to be able to continue to grow Flourish and Thrive Academy, is to get that support surrounding me. So for the last couple years, I've been really wanting to feel like less stressed. And what I realized, just knowing my personality, is that a lot of times what I end up doing is coming up with ideas and then wanting to move everything forward. And so what ends up happening is I create a little bit of chaos in my world, and I move a bunch of things forward at once, which is never good for anyone. I know this about myself, so I'm super aware of it. So my word last year was to simplify, because we were trying to streamline a lot of things over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. I was trying to streamline a lot of things in my personal life, and I was also trying to streamline a lot of things in my jewelry business. So for you, I want you to think of how you want to feel and then be able to dial that down into one word. So this is going to be a really important practice for you. Question number 1, how do I want to feel? Question number 2 is, how do I want my relationships to look? This is really important for those of you who have family members, or for those of you who have really strong friendships and relationships are important to you. Maybe it's your business relationships. So for me, when I think about my jewelry business, I want to be working with customers who I can be able to support, who come back to me year in year again, who I'm continuing to work with over and over again, who think of me first. And one of the people that I think of right away when I think of my clients like this and their kinds of relationships that I want to build, and I'm using business as an example, but the same thing is true for life, is my client, Amy. Amy came to me a couple years ago, and she had some diamonds that she wanted, or her mother's engagement ring and her parents' wedding bands, repurposed into something that she could wear every day. So I took the diamonds out and made a couple of stacking rings for her that she wore with her grandmother's ring. And this was the start of a really amazing business relationship that's actually turned into a friendship. And I love this about working with clients like Amy, because, she's come to me now for, I think, 6 or 7 pieces. I just recently created something that had a lot of meaning for her with some extra diamonds that she had that was a sun. So I got to create this like really beautiful stylized sun that now she can wear every single day. But on top of that, I've created a bunch of other pieces because I've really focused on how I want my relationships to be, not only in my business, but in my life. And so this is a great question to ask yourself. What do I want my relationships to look like? The next question that I think is really important, it's something that I've personally been facing this year, is like, how do I want to improve my health? So this is like probably TMI. I'm just going to share with you. But it really does affect your business. And I like to bring, some of this like more like real life stuff to the podcast. And I remember when I was teaching yoga, I think one of the reasons why people liked coming to my class, or this is at least what my students would say, is because I was a real life yogi. I wasn't sitting there, talking about some random Indian gods, who are I'm just using this as a joke, but like sitting on a hill, meditating and like living in the middle of nowhere. I was a real life yogi. Like stuff goes down and you got to deal with it. And, my classes were really focused on real life and how to use yoga to handle, the real life struggles that come up. And, oftentimes those things, they could be solved with chanting, but I think that, there's more powerful ways to deal with it. Sometimes it's through movement. Sometimes it's through breath work. Sometimes it's just by understanding that you're not alone, but it all kind of relates back to your health. So when I bring stuff on this podcast, like sometimes I'm going to be sharing like personal stuff with you, like I'm about to do right now. But this last year, I have not been super focused on my health. And the effect of that is that I've been extra tired. I've been having, some health problems and, nothing severe, but I don't really have the same kind of energy that I used to have. And I realize it's because I have been a little bit more stressed. I haven't been taking care of myself as well. I've still been, committed to my workout schedule, but I've let some things that are really important to creating physical and mental health fall by the wayside because I've been so busy. So one of my goals next year is to get back to being a lot more healthy, eating better, meditating more, making sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do for self-care in order to support my health. So this is a really important question because if you're healthy and strong and vibrant, you can show up in your business so much better and get a lot more done. So how do I want to improve my health? This is an important question. The next question number 4, is how do I want to improve my lifestyle? So I love this question because sometimes improving your lifestyle might be something as simple as moving into a new apartment. So I recently moved into a new apartment in Hudson Yards. In fact, I'm actually recording this episode from my old apartment, but by the time this episode goes live, I will have already moved into my new apartment. I, had been living in the same West Village walk-up for 10 years in New York City. And I loved it. I loved my neighborhood, but I was just feeling like inside, like I needed a change. And I wanted a bigger apartment that actually like reflected the person who I'm becoming. Now I took a huge risk and, this is not something I recommend necessarily for everyone, but I am confident in my ability to earn money with my jewelry business. So I took a big leap and it was a big financial upgrade and a lifestyle upgrade because this was important to me. It was time for me to kind of grow up, as I like to say. So, maybe your, version of like upgrading your lifestyle or changing your lifestyle might not be something like moving into a new home or apartment, but it might be something like, maybe it's taking more time for yourself or doing more, I'm going to say self-care. That sort of has to do with your health, or maybe it's taking more vacations, or maybe it's something about how you want to approach how often and how much you're working in your business and how often and how much you are spending time with your family and friends. So all these things relate to lifestyle. And, I think it's really important to evaluate what we're doing, what is not making us happy, and then try to change that and upgrade it for the next year. So the 4th question is, what do I want to do to improve my lifestyle? Question number 5, how will I create more adventure and joy in my life? Now, I think this one is really important because a lot of times we don't focus on happiness. And this is really the most important thing that you need to be focusing on. Is like, what is it that makes you happy? And a lot of times that gets dialed down to adventure. So what are you doing that is like pushing you outside your comfort zone? That's bringing you joy and happiness. That's, lifting you up when you feel down. So I want you to really think about this question long and hard, because for you, for me, adventure might be going on a trekking vacation in India or on a exploratory trip through the wine country in Italy. So for everyone, adventure is going to come through a different way. For some of you, it might be diving out of a plane or, hiking Mount Everest, or maybe it's even just doing something fun with your kids that pushes you out of your comfort zone. So I want you to really think about what it is that is going to bring you more adventure and joy in your life and ultimately happiness. So I think that that's a really important question. Number 5, how will I create more adventure and joy in my life? Question number 6. We have to get into money at some point here. What are my financial goals? Do you want to save more money? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to become more profitable? These are all really important things. And for me, in my life, in my business, my financial goals are coming to the forefront. And some of those goals include maybe not being so frivolous with how I'm spending my money on silly things that maybe aren't going to add value in the long term of my life, like, buying new clothes all the time or buying all shoes. that I love, all the shoes that I love, I should say. And I'm not going to deprive myself of those things, but I'm really focus on investing my money now. So one of my financial goals is to start setting some of that extra budget that I had for some of the fun stuff that I do in my life that maybe it's more consumerism, to invest in stuff like real estate or cash flow investment so that I have additional sources of revenue coming into my, financial wheelhouse. So I want you to think about that. What are your financial goals? Maybe it's investing, maybe it's saving more, maybe it's becoming more profitable in your business, maybe it's reaching a certain sales goal. All these things are great financial goals. And there's a lot more that you can choose from. So I want you to think strategically about question number 6. What are my financial goals? Question number 7. What is one bucket list item I will complete this year? So I think this is sort of tied into the adventure and fun one thing. But I think, I was talking with my friend the other day and, we were trying to make plans. And she's like, oh, I can't make it. Sadly, I have to fly back to my hometown because a friend of mine passed away. And, my friend's about 50 and her friend is about 52 or 50 as well, I should say. And her friend passed away. And, this always brings me back to this reminder that life is too short to put things that are important to you to accomplish onto the next year or later in life. And, I say this as I talk with my hands and hit my microphone as I'm talking, because, a lot of you, I've shared my personal story with you. My mother passed away when she was my age. I'm 46 years old right now. And I remember thinking back at that time, I'll try not to cry, that she died way too young. 46 years old I feel so young. I can't even imagine the idea of my life being over right now. But I'm constantly reminded when I hear stories of what happened to my friend that life is really short. And it's not, putting things on hold till later is not really the answer. So I want to really encourage you to think about what is one item on your bucket list that you can check off this year. And if you're up for it, pick 5 things. I'm always doing bucket list things every single year. I think this is really important practice for you to continue on. And even if it's something very small. So I'd really encourage you to ask yourself this question. Number 7, what is one bucket list item that I will complete this year? Question number 8, where do I see or envision my business going? This is really important, especially when I'm, doing this on a business podcast. We need to talk about business, but life is really important, but business is also important as well, especially for those of you who are, jewelry business owners or jewelry business entrepreneurs, however you identify. You need to really think about what you want for your business. Do you want it to stay the same? Do you want it to grow? Do you want to take a step back and you're be okay with that? So these are things that you want to think through, because if you're not thinking like a visionary, you're going to really struggle when you're in the thick of it to really get things done. So this is an important question to ask yourself. Where do I envision my business going? Question number 9, what needs to change? Now, this is a great question that we all need to ask probably more than once a year. So a lot of times we continue moving on our path, moving forward, getting things done, cranking that wheel, and then we, end up somewhere thinking to ourselves wow, what's going on right now is not really making me happy or not fulfilling me or not filling me up with joy, because we're going through the motions. And a lot of times, we get to a place in life and business that everything that we were doing was right, but then all of a sudden something is wrong and it needs to change. So I want you to really think about this in yourself. Identify areas in your life that are, maybe feeling like dead weight or that aren't lighting you up, that aren't exciting for you. And identify what needs to change, whether that be in business, whether that be in your personal life, whether that be in your, spiritual practice or health. A lot of times we need to consider this, change. Yeah, I used to say this saying all the time in my yoga classes. So there's this old adage that you've certainly heard before, that the only constant in life is change. And so I want to remind you that change isn't really scary. It's just a normal part of life. And the more that we can embrace change in our lives, the better opportunity we have to really master our lives and go with the flow and step into that role of visionary for our business and for our life. And so I want you to not think of this as something that's daunting or heavy, but something that's exciting. What can change? What can you streamline? What needs to be cut out? There is always going to be something that is going to help you evolve. So question number 9, super important. What needs to change? And then question number 10, what do I need to add or subtract to make this all possible? or make this a possibility. So a lot of times, when I think back to my years when my word was support, what I needed to add at that time was A+ team players. And I built this amazing team. I got Abby as my business manager. I have Jessica as our community leader, Rebecca as our content writer. I've got, of course, Robin here as my co-founder here at Flourish and Thrive. But we've really set up and empowered our team to be able to offer the support. And, and that goes all the way down to me, like handing over the reins to Sharon to run our social media and giving her feedback, but letting her actually run with it so that she can, thrive in the position. She's not always like relying on me to give her the answers. And, to work with our project manager, Ari, to get everything done and to work with all of our contractors who are trying to get things to the next level. So, in that year where I was looking for support, like it was an adding year, but like there are years when you need to subtract. So I'll give you an example of this in my own business. Like every year at the end of the year, I start thinking of things or looking through my financials and saying like, do I really need this? Is this something that's really important? In fact, in my personal finances, I am a subscriber to like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 streaming TV, movie type services like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Now, Amazon Prime. So I think it's funny because I have all of these streaming services, but I'm like, am I really watching them all? So I think I have to decide. I think I'm going to cut one of them. So there are things that you might need to subtract. And that's like sort of a silly example, but like in your business, do you need to be spending all the money that you're spending on certain things? Or is there a place where you need to be investing more to help grow? So going through this stage of evaluation, or maybe it's that, you have someone on your team that's been working there for a while, but they're not really invested in the position anymore. And it's time for you guys to like change your arrangement. There's a lot of ways that you can think of this. So think about this last question. What do I need to add or subtract to make this a possibility? So those are my 10 questions. There you go. I really love going through these sort of evaluative processes because these questions can be really powerful and getting you to that next level of where you really want to be in your life and business. And I love this time of the year. It's like such a fun time because we get to like sort of wrap out our year, like really crush our holiday sales. But then it's a really amazing time to evaluate what it is that we want to put forward into the next year. So I want you guys to really dive deep. You have about a month to kind of take these things on and really go with it. And I want to remind you that if you're someone who really wants to take a look and investigate what's going on with you and see sort of like how you stand, make sure that you check out Michael Hyatt's Life Score. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/life score. Take the assessment. It's going to be fun. It's just a great way for you to kind of take a look at what's going on right now in your life and what can be improved to help you have the best year ever. So I'm super excited about this. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to the show today. This was so fun for me. It brings me back to my days of teaching yoga and doing something a little bit outside the box and getting you back to, real life, tactical, thinking about your life questions, I guess. Before we go, I wanted to leave you on 2 notes. So the first one is that one of the best ways that you can really learn is from learning from your peers. In fact, as I record this, I'm about to head to my mastermind in our last mastermind party in Las Vegas. And, one of the reasons why I've grown so much in business, not only in my jewelry business this last 3 years, but also in Flourish and Thrive, being able to become a better leader and sort of launching this podcast even probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for my mastermind, is that I've had this opportunity to learn some really great things from my peers to see how they're doing it in a very different way. And so I became really inspired. So I asked a couple of designers to share with us what they are doing to really elevate and sell out during the holiday season. So we have a really great resource for you that I'd love to share so that you can get inspired by what others are doing to really create the best holiday season ever for your business. It's called Simple Sales Hacks, and it's how 10 designers are selling out this holiday season. So I hope you'll go grab it. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/sales hacks. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/sales hacks and grab the free download. You can also get it over at the show notes over at flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 126. And I wanted to remind you that January is a very special time over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. Every year we kick off the year with a special training or boot camp. And this year we're bringing back our Jewelry Brand Makeover Bootcamp, and it's incredible. And for those of you who've participated last year, you know how this really helps you set up your year for success. So I'd like to invite you to join. We'll have some details over on the show notes on how you can join us, or just head straight to flourishthriveacademy.com/makeover and jump on the waiting list. All right. Well, I'm really excited to support you and watch your business flourish and thrive. Sending you lots of good juju for an amazing rest of the holiday season. Have an awesome day, everyone. Talk to you soon.